All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Rachel Klein, and I will be your presenter today for the next 30 minutes. We are joined today with Louis Frank from Vanco. We're going to be doing the presentation together. So today we're going to be covering a couple different things. So first thing we're going to look at is what Vanco can offer you. Okay, so we're going to look at different ways members of your church or visitors of your church, people that want to give to your organization, can do that through Vanco. So Louis is going to jump in at the beginning and he's going to show you different options for your church and using Vanco and what giving portals people can use to give to your church. And then I'm going to jump in for the second half of the webinar, and I'm going to go over how you get that information from Vanco into your church windows. Okay, and how you can create a batch, get it posted, and if you use accounting, how to get that information transferred over into the accounting module. Okay, so like I said, today is going to be 30 minutes. It's going to be about 10 minutes of Louis presenting, 10 minutes of me, and then the last 10 minutes we're going to go over any questions you might have. So Josh is listening in here at Church Windows. He's going to be answering any questions. So on your GoToWebinar toolbar, if you expand that question section, feel free to type in something there and Josh will do his best to get you an answer. If you have a Vanco related question, you can definitely type those in and Louis is going to be keeping an eye on those and get you an answer that way. Please try to keep the questions topical. If you have like a more specific question or something like that, you can always type it in and we'll let you know if that's something we would need to touch base with you after the webinar to get you an answer. But please just let us know that way. Also, this has been recorded. This is the third one that we've done. So there is a video already out at churchwindows.com. So if you want to show this presentation to somebody else in your church or maybe a committee, council, something like that, if you go to churchwindows.com, it is available out on the website and you can show this to anybody who's interested. All right, Louis, I'm going to go ahead and change presenter over to you so you can start your Vanco information.
Great, thanks Rachel. And just a quick sound check, making sure that you can hear me okay. Yes, can you hear me, Rachel?
Yep, I can hear you. Sound great.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks so much, Rachel, for that introduction. I'm going to flip on my webcam here so that you can see that I'm coming to you from lovely Bloomington, Minnesota. We're having an absolute beautiful summer day. So hopefully wherever you are located, you're experiencing some nice summer weather, or if it is really hot, at least you got some good air conditioning. So like I said, a special thanks for Church Windows for inviting me in to show you how our Give Plus products can work. I love doing webinars like this because the Church Windows platform, the great news is that you already have integrated e-giving and you'll actually be able to see its capabilities today. So whether you're a Vanco customer or not, we'll be able to show you some powerful tools and how you can actually unlock integrated giving within Church Windows. And if you're an existing Vanco and Church Windows customer today, first of all, thank you. And if you don't have it, our two applications already integrated together, today is a great way to take action and be able to do that and really see the powerful benefits that it enables. So what I'm showing you right now is I'm sharing out my screen and just showing you a sample giving page that you can have. So this is our Give Plus Online product. It comes in two flavors, we say, which is one, we have hosted. So we can actually host this page for you. This is an example of a hosted page where you can just link to this page from your website, from your Facebook page, whatever the case might be. You have your own dedicated link in which you can drive people to. And then we have what's called an embed option. So I'll flip tabs here and you can see that this is a sample of a church website that you can actually have e-giving embedded within your website as well. So we'll go through the example of a hosted page. This is usually our most common ask from clients, is that we host the page for them. Like I just showed you, we can facilitate either way. So I'll walk you through what's on this page. So you can have this customized, with your logo, your colors, whatever the case might be. We recommend as a best practice is to actually have a welcome message, right? Showing people, your members, that they're in the right place in which to make the donation, and really telling the story of what are your donations going to, right? And maybe some potential step-by-steps if you want to provide them a how-to in here as well. And so I'll scroll down, and you can have different funds here. So we have different donation categories or funds, depending on how you want to call them. Sunday giving, building fund, music ministry, food pantry, other, and you can actually type that in. So this is really powerful, is that you can have a variety of funds, and they can change depending on what e-giving platform you have with Give+. So you can have different funds for online versus ones that show up for mobile or text, kiosk, whatever the case might be. We allow you to have those different funds and have them live in different places, or if you want them to be all the same, you can have them be all the same as well. So I'm just going to start typing in some donations here. I'm a generous guy, so I'll throw in $50 for Sunday giving, and of course our building probably needs a new roof or something. So I'll throw in $75, and being a passionate music fan that I am, I'll make this my $100 donation for music. And then you can choose the frequency. So you can choose it just being a one-time. You can have it be weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, semi-monthly, whatever the case might be. I'll do one time just for this example. And then you can have different donation dates. So if you want this to actually process, say, when you get paid next, or you just want to have it for a future date, you can definitely select that. One of the things that we do, that we facilitate for churches as well, if they already have sort of their set dates that they want to collect donations for those periods, they have all those funds listed, and then you can actually schedule those out in advance. So if you want to schedule your entire year of giving, you in fact could by using our Give+ online solution. So I'll do just today's date. And then another powerful use case for using Give+ online is you can actually use this for events, right? So this is not only showing that you can take donations, but then you can also set up within this page for events, or we offer you the ability to set up an entirely separate page for events as well. So for this example, you can actually take payments for your annual retreat or vacation Bible school that you have coming up, as well as fall kickoff activities that you might have coming back, youth group activity fees. You could take all of those within this page as well, and you could schedule that out. So that's a really powerful use case for this as well. So I'm just going to hit continue. And then this will take to our secure donation page where you start typing in your information. So I'll take you through this, and bear with me as I type through and talk at the same time. Not really a strong suit of mine. I'm going to do our credit card, and I'll start typing in what would be a credit card information. Obviously, this is not real. And then plugging this in, just like you would any other place as you're checking out via an online experience. And just type in Vanco payments here. And then this will bring up an option, which is optional like it says, is this called a member offset fee. And this is a really powerful feature, is that you can present this to your members to help offset what's the processing fee for electronic giving. So whether it's credit card, debit card, or ACH, you can have them say, yes, I'm willing to help offset those fees by just clicking this box. And you can see, I'll direct your attention to the top right-hand side of the screen, that little $6.19 was added. So that's 2.75% of that total, and then that will add to the total donation to that. So in this case, the member is going to get recognized for their full gift at the end of the year of $231.19, while that church is going to be getting $225, or roughly that equivalent, by just selecting that. And we see a lot of members actually select that when presented the opportunity. So a really powerful feature that we have you consider as you're starting to build out your Give+ online page. I'll select the same as the address above, and if I wanted to not just make a one-time gift, but actually create an account where I can go in, I can see my donations that I've made, the history of my donations that I've made, as well as make any changes. So if I want to change from weekly to monthly or monthly back to weekly, I can do all that if I create an account by just selecting a password here. And you can have your members then log in and make any of those changes that they want to sort of ad hoc. So I'll confirm that I'm not a robot, then I'll hit process. Don't want to save this card in here. And then this will take me to the receipt page. So this says, hey, thank you for your donation. I'll actually be getting then an email confirmation with that receipt. And then you in the church are going to get a confirmation, an email confirmation that in fact Louis gave to Sunday Giving, the Building Fund Music Ministry, to this total dollar donation. So you can set up your notifications however you want on the church side, but a really powerful real-time notification that you can get that your members are actually donating. So it's just that easy. It's setting up. It's as simple as setting up a Give Plus online page, deciding what funds you want to have your members be able to contribute to, and then notifying your members that you now have the ability to take donations via your web page, via Facebook, wherever you want to put this link, and have your members start to interact with that. I'll leave you on this sort of final thought that we see on our side is that when people enable electronic giving, they see a 26% increase in their total donations. And I'll demystify that number a little bit for you from the standpoint of we are in the middle of it right now, which is the summer slump. As you've probably noticed at your church, people aren't showing up as frequently during the summer. Now, me personally, I love attending church in the summer. I get a whole pew to myself. Picking up my kid and dropping off my kid is way easier because there's a lot less traffic. But as you probably noticed, when people go on vacation, so does their money. Electronic donations really help cover that gap, which is that people still want to give, but be able to do so in an electronic method, allow them to set up reoccurring giving. And this is a really important component of that. So I'll leave you as that to think about. And of course, if you have any questions about not only how Give Plus works, but any stats or figures that we see about the benefits that electronic giving can have with your church, I'm here to answer any questions that you might have. So Rachel, I'll pass it back to you.
All right, are you able to hear me? Just want to make sure I'm coming through loud and clear.
Sound great, Rachel.
Okay. All right. So Louis, thank you for that. So once you have people that sign up for Vanco, give through it that way, then the next step is getting that information or those donations into church windows, into donations, the easiest way possible. So in version 20.17.1, so if you look at my screen, you can see that we're actually up to version 20.17.3. But starting in the 0.1 version, we have this new feature in donations. It's going to be an import via download. So what we've done with Vanco is set up a way for donations to actually go out, connect up to one of Vanco's servers, find those donations that people have contributed to your church, and pull them down into the donations program, create a batch, and post it. Okay, so with just a couple clicks, you can take giving that came in within a specific date range and get those transactions created, get it posted into accounting, and then also get it to show up on donation statements without having to manually enter everything. All right, so that new import feature is going to be up here in donations under import donations. You're going to go to Vanco, and then you're going to go to import via download. So as soon as that screen opens, the first thing you're going to have to do is set the date range. Okay, so you can go in and you can do this once a week if you want. You could go in and import it every time you get an alert or a notification letting you know that someone has made a transaction. You can do it at the end of the month. It's really up to you. So I'm going to go ahead and do it for the month of July. So in my first date range box, I'm going to choose July 1st, and then I'm going to go through today. So I'm telling Church Windows I want it to go out, connect up with Vanco, and I want it to pull everything that's come in for this month so far. Okay. Once I get my date range in, I'm just going to hit begin download. It's going to verify my date, make sure I have what I want. Say yes. And then it's going to take me to this Vanco download screen. Okay, so you are required to input a client ID, a login name, and a password. This information you're not going to get from us at Church Windows. This is information you're going to need to contact Vanco for. All right, so if you call Vanco, you let them know you're using Church Windows, you want to use the download feature, they are going to be able to give you this information that you can then plug in here to Church Windows. So let me get my information plugged in here. WS Church, and I'm going to get my password. Now you can also check this box, the save login name. That way next time you come in, you're just going to have to put your password in. It's going to remember your client ID and your login name. So it just saves you a couple steps. So I'm going to go ahead and check that box. I'm going to hit OK. And it's going to start working. It's going to go out and connect up to Vanco's server. It's going to look for any of that giving that came in. And then it's going to pull me into this screen. Okay, so you are going to see this screen anytime you have unmatched items. So it's important that you tell Church Windows who belongs to what, if you will. So when someone signs up for Vanco, they get a Vanco ID. Okay, so those are going to be what you see listed over here on the left. You have to tell Church Windows this Vanco ID belongs to so-and-so. Okay, so the program knows when it sees this Vanco ID, it's always going to give giving to a particular person. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Jeffrey Alexander because this Vanco ID belongs to him. Then I'm going to come down here and match up this next one. So each time you have someone new sign up to use Vanco, you're going to have to match them. Now it might be when you do an import that you don't have any of these unmatched items that you have to worry about. That's just letting you know that everything is matched. Everybody knows, or the church, or I should say Church Windows knows what Vanco ID belongs to who, okay? So let me do this last one here. Jen, good, okay. Then on the right-hand side, you now have your account. So as Louie pointed out earlier, you have different giving accounts set up in Vanco that people can choose to contribute to, or different categories. So what you have to do now in Church Windows is say, if someone's giving to Vanco ID 004, what account in Church Windows is the same? So 0004 is going to be 197. That's going to be our crop walk giving account. We're going to come down here, and this is going to be our kitchen renovation giving. 0008 is going to be our noodle making equipment we need for those Wednesday night dinners. We're going to choose that. And then we're going to come down here to account 9999, and we're going to say that belongs to handbells. Okay. Now, once you have these saved, it's going to remember it for next time. Okay, so this is not something you're going to have to do every time you do an import. But once they're matched, I'm going to say save. I'm going to hit save over here so it remembers my givers as well. Then I'm going to jump over here to the imported donations tab. So as soon as all my matches are done, I can come, excuse me, I can come in here and I can see the dates. So each date that a donation is given through Vanco, when it's imported, it's going to be looked at in donations as its own separate batch. Just like regular donations that you enter manually through Enter Donations, it's always going to be separated by the date. So we can see here we had giving come in on the 4th, the 11th, and the 17th. So if you expand each date, you can actually see who made it and where their money went, okay? After you have everything imported here, you do need to come over here to the right and hit this Create Donations button. That's then going to take you to the screen for imported batches. If you're used to doing or entering donations manually through the Enter Donations screen, this is like the Saved Batches screen. You still have one more step from this point. So under each date, you're just going to click to highlight it, and you do need to come down here and hit Post. This Post Batch button is what's actually going to create your transactions. It's going to give them transaction numbers for each transaction, and it's going to put things on people's donation statements. So you have to make sure you're hitting Post Batch. And then I get a message that it doesn't fall on a standard posting day of Sunday, which is okay. The gift came in on a Wednesday. We'll just say yes to that. And I need to do the last two, each one being separate because they are separate batches, as I said, and then post the last one. All right, so now everything is posted. Now, a lot of times, people that I talk to on the phone during support calls, they want to be able to see a report. They want to be able to print something out, put it in a binder, have a hard copy that they can look at or pull up later. If that's something you do, you can still go up to the top, hit posted batches, and you're going to see your last 4 dates that you posted here. Simply highlight the batch, hit print down at the bottom, and you are going to get a posted batch report, just like you would after you printed a report from posting something through Enter Donations. All right, let me close out of here. If you have the accounting module, you still have one more step. So you need to transfer these gifts over into accounting. To do that, you're going up to transfer to accounting. You're going to see those 3 dates waiting for you here. Over to the far right, just as any other batch you've put in, you have to hit post and then confirm it. And that's what's going to send these DONA transactions over into the accounting module. Okay, so once you get them imported, the process after that's the same, just like a regular manually entered transaction, but it's just that import feature now is really, really slick to grab that giving from Vanco, put it right into donations with a couple clicks, and get it into accounting. All right, so that covers my half of the presentation. So if you guys have any questions, please type those in. I see there's a couple in there that Louie might be able to answer from Brooke. But like I said, you have questions, type them in and be patient with us, and we'll do our best to get an answer for you.
Yeah, Rachel, I can start if that sounds good to you.
Yeah, that's great. Yep.
Okay. We had a question from Jean. Jean wanted to know, can my Vanco client access be structured so I can import donations but not be able to transfer funds? My role is to record donations, but I am not the church treasurer. Yes, absolutely. So on the Vanco side, you can definitely restrict who has access to what. And then like Rachel showed, when you get that pop-up window of downloading your transactions to Vanco, we can create those credentials for you, so you can just plug those right in. And you can then download those donations. So depending on how you want your access set up, Gene, we'd be happy to walk you through that or answer any questions that you might have as well. But it's really just that simple of downloading those transactions, reviewing them, and then posting them, just like Rachel saw or showed. So thanks for the question, Gene. The next one that I saw came from Brooke. So I showed in my example of our giving page, there was an other category that you can sort of type in. What you want that donations to go to. A lot of people use that for in honor of, that sort of thing. Brooke asked if that other category was available in our embed donation page. And right now, Brooke, it is not. So we are working on adding all those features and functionalities that we have for that hosted page into our embed, but the other category is not something that we currently support in the embed page. But depending on what you're trying to do, we'd be happy to have a conversation with you, Brooke, to get a better understanding of what you might be looking to do with that other category, and if there's other ways we can work around that if you want to utilize the embed option. So thanks so much for the question.
All right, I do see another question here from Jean. I can go ahead and answer that. She's asking, if I try to import donations I have previously imported, will Church Windows warn me? Jean, it will. So there are different things the programmers have gone in and set up to have the import kind of look at before it brings something in. So if it sees an identical transaction, it is going to alert you and let you know that it's already been imported. Let's see. Chris is asking, do I need to adjust for fees in accounting? Also looks like a similar question from Jim. You do. Okay, so as Louie showed us earlier, people are going to go in and they're going to make a donation. There is that fee offset checkbox. But if people don't check that, they're still going to get full credit for their donation when the money comes into donations, okay? What we have done, we created a video on this that you guys can watch. It's out at our website at churchwindows.com. But you do definitely have to account for those fees. So even though Bob Smith gave $60, when that money hits your bank account, it might be $57.50 or something like that, depending on what the percentage of fees taken out is. You have to then adjust your asset over in the accounting module so you can reconcile on your bank rec. Okay, so there is an adjustment that has to be done in accounting. We have that information covered in a video and in a document at churchwindows.com. Just look up fees in the search and you'll be able to find it out there. Let's see what else we have here. Kyle's asking, how do you get the Vanco giver name and account number to do the church windows match? Okay, so Kyle, let me go back in here real quick. Let me jump into the Setup Givers tab and the Setup Giving Accounts. So when someone signs up for Vanco, they are going to get a Vanco ID. So say I log in, I decide that, or I sign up, I want to give through my church. When Rachel signs up, I'm going to get a Vanco ID. You can go out to Vanco's website and sign on through their support center, and you can actually see the person's name and what their Vanco ID is. Once you have that information, then you have to come into Church Windows and you have to plug that in. So you would need to find, say, Lucy, for example, or Rachel, and you would need to input here what their Vanco customer number is, so Church Windows gives the proper person credit. Okay, and if you don't do this ahead of time, it's going to alert you on that unmatched items tab like I showed you a little earlier. Okay, same way works for giving accounts. You have to tell the program if someone gives through Vanco to account 0004, what account do I want that to credit in Church Windows? And then once the matches are made, they're saved. You don't have to go back in and update it.
I see another one for me, Rachel, if that works for you.
Yep.
Which is, Jim wanted to know, how does the money get into our bank account? So it's a great question, Jim, and it depends on how people give, whether it's electronic check or ACH or credit or debit card. So ACH has a little bit longer processing time, 1 to 2 business days, depending on when that donation is actually made and when the bank processes it. Debit and credit card are a lot quicker. From the standpoint, it's just the validation that the funds are good and available, and to be able to then be sent over to your bank account. Now, one of the differences with Vanco as well is that if you have different funds that you want to go to different bank accounts, we are able to facilitate that. So some of the examples that we see is that churches have a separate mortgage fund or wanting to pay off the mortgage of their church versus, say, traditional Sunday giving, weekend giving, and we can split those off depending on where you want those funds to go if you want to route those to different bank accounts. So there's another benefit of using Vanco as well. I'll take the next one too, Rachel, is Robin asks, is there a charge to start using this if we have Vanco and Church Windows currently? Great question, Robin, and no, there isn't, which is such a huge advantage of being a Church Windows customer and Vanco together, is that you have integrated giving, just like Rachel showed there. You just need to enable it. And if you reach out to us here at Vanco, we'll give you those credentials, and you just pop those in to Church Windows, and you can start downloading your transactions. It's really just that simple, Robin. We have integration guides. We also have tech support, very similar to Church Windows. We take client support as a real mission of our service to you, and we're happy to help walk you through any questions that you might have. All right, Donna asked, we currently have Simply Giving at 0.3% of total our total charges for being processed. Give plus fees seem to be much higher at 2.75%. So Donna, for Simply Giving, the 0.3%, that's going to be representative of that current rate that you have with the Thrivent relationship that we used to have. And that's just for electronic check is that percentage. And then what you saw on the Give Plus side of 2.75%, that would be for accepting credit and debit cards. So if you have questions about that, happy to answer those, whether it's here or offline. But really enabling credit and debit cards is where we see a lot of donations really take off in terms of increase in total donations, because that's what people have and that's what they experience in everyday life of, buying something at Starbucks or Target or whatever the case might be, is that they're using their credit or debit card versus knowing their bank account information to be able to do ACH or electronic check. But thanks so much for being a customer, Donna. Appreciate the question. So Paul asked a great question is, are the Vanco credentials used in church windows the same I use to sign into Vanco? No, they are different. We are creating that unique connection for you between your church windows account and your Vanco account. So they will be different, and it's just very quick in which to create those credentials to you. So if you want to reach out to us here at Vanco, you can give us a call, and I can give you our phone number if you are ready for it. It is 1-800-675-7430. You can always go to vancopayments.com, or also you can go to giveplus.com, and we have those phone numbers listed, as well as plenty of other resources for you as well. So thanks so much for the question, Paul. All right, Sandra says, we use the Give Plus app. Does it use the same login credentials as the website? Yeah, absolutely. So that's what's called single sign-on, Sandra, and sort of the in the weeds, if you will, in the business. And so that your members can use their same login information if they want to give online, or if they want to give through the mobile app, whatever the case might be, that they are able to do that. If you have questions about how that works and how that shows up back in Vanco, your reporting, we'd be happy to walk you through that as well. But that is another great benefit of being able to have multiple giving tools to enable to your members in which to give, and be able to make that a really frictionless, seamless process. So thanks for the question, Sandra.
And Louie, I actually have a question for you.
All right.
Kyle asked a question. It's about the other category that you guys have available.
Sure.
He mentioned that it could be cumbersome to have an other category and then have a bunch of extra accounts to have to worry about managing within church windows. Is there a way that you can hide the other category so that's not an option for people to give through?
Yeah, absolutely. So you are in full control, you being the church, you are in full control of what funds you want to have displayed there, right? So whether it's building funds, Sunday giving, other, it's up to you what you want to have displayed there. There is nothing sort of by default that's going to show up without your customization of that.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Looks like there's another question here too. Is the CW portion of this information covered in a training video or PDF? Kyle, it definitely is. If you go out to churchwindows.com, this is the third time we've done this webinar. We've been trying to do one a month. So a previous webinar has been recorded, and it's up on our website that covers exactly what we talked about today. So if you head out to churchwindows.com, there's a little search box. You can just search Vanco or import via download, and you should get the result of the webinar that we've done in the past.
And then we also have an integration guide as well. So if you want sort of a step-by-step, and that's a PDF, something you can print out, I'm happy to provide that to you as well.
All right, looks like we were right at the 30-minute mark, maybe a little bit over. If you guys got the information that you're wanting, feel free to sign out. You can leave the webinar, but if you still have questions, please type those in or just hit send so we don't cut you off if you're working on typing something up. Louis, do you have anything else you wanted to cover?
Yeah, Amy asked a question is, I assume funds go straight into our designated bank account. And yes, that is a correct assumption there, Amy, depending on what bank account you have associated with each fund. So we will pull into a batch report, coincide with the bank settlement date for bank reconciliations each month. So you can pull reporting from Vanco that's going to show that. And then if you want to reconcile that with what your bank shows as well, that's a great way to sort of validate that, or to do a check. So Amy, we're happy to show you where those reports live or what they look like, or any questions you have about that. Let us know how we can help. And I think that was it, Rachel, that I saw. Oh, Larry had a question come in, which is, does Vanco charge the church by the transaction or by the time period? So that's a great question, Larry. We charge by the transaction. And what I will caveat that with is, I gave an example where I gave to multiple funds in one transaction. we are only charging you for that one transaction. So if you give to 10 funds, 8 funds, 2 funds, it's still just one, it's processed as one transactions, not as individual funds. So I hope that clarifies. And then Brooke wanted to know, can you get reports from Vanco for specific bank accounts? Absolutely, for sure. We had a pretty robust reporting engine behind the MyVanco login, and happy to walk you through any questions you have there, Brooke. Thank you for the question. I think that was all I saw on my side, Rachel.
Yeah, I think I got all mine too. So why don't, I think I'm going to go ahead and just close up the webinar. I think we're good. If you're typing, please hit send real quick so we can get to your question. But again, if you come up with a question after the webinar closes, just call us. You can call Vanco. You know, if we can't, excuse me, if we can't get you an answer, we'll get you over to somebody at Vanco that can. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and close the webinar. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Rachel.
Bye-bye.